And honestly, the new thing that God is doing isn't just around you. Sometimes the new thing is happening within you. That new thing might be your discernment, your strength, your peace, your boundaries, your confidence, your self-awareness, or your emotional maturity. Welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, coach, author, mom, and your sister along this journey of healing, growth, resilience, and living more intentionally. As Black women, we know all too well that life can break our hearts in more ways than one. But here in this space, we heal, grow, rebuild, and bounce back together. Because it's not just you. It's not just me. It's us. Hey there, my friend, and welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman. I'm going to be really honest. Today's episode feels deeply personal for me, but it also feels deeply reflective. Because lately, I've been thinking a lot about how hard seasons really shape us into the humans that we are today. Not just heartbreak, not just grief, not just disappointment, but all the seasons that stretch us and grow us, the ones that force us to confront our fears, confront uncertainty, confront loneliness, exhaustion, and confront change. And here's what I've realized. Hard seasons are going to change all of us, and they are unavoidable. They're part of life. But the question we have to ask ourselves is how those seasons will change us. Will they make us more bitter or wiser? More fearful or more grounded? More closed off or more intentional? And honestly, sometimes we don't even realize how much we've changed until life tests us once again. And that's what happened to me recently. A while back, and many of you may remember that episode, my grand dog that I had taken in after he went from my daughter-in-law to my daughter and then eventually to me, got very sick. And even recalling it makes me emotional now because it was such a scary and sad time. So when I tell you it scared me, I mean it really scared me. One day he was okay, and the next he was barely moving, barely eating, and declining very quickly. He had some sort of stroke and short-term blindness, and so we began to have conversations about preparing to put him down. And if you've ever loved a pet deeply, then you understand that they become part of your family. And so emotionally, this hit hard. And honestly, part of what overwhelmed me wasn't just the thought of losing him. It was the thought of having to walk through yet another painful loss in life, alone. And I remember thinking, how do I do this again? How do I survive another goodbye? And it's making me emotional even telling the story now. But somewhere in the middle of all of that fear, I noticed something. I was handling the situation differently than I would have years ago. Not perfectly, not without emotion, not without tears and fear, but differently. And it's that realization that stopped me in my tracks. Because I realized that resilience had already been growing in me quietly, not overnight, not magically, not through pretending to be strong, but through each and every difficult season I had already survived. And wow, when I took the time to stop and think about how many times I made my way through, with God's help, a difficult season in life, I became very grateful and optimistic that I would make it through yet another. And I think growth can be quiet much of the time. And I think that's important because sometimes we expect healing to feel dramatic, like a moment in time when all of a sudden we are healed. We think that growth is going to arrive with confidence and certainty and clarity and some huge emotional breakthrough. But if I'm being really honest with you, friend, a lot of healing happens quietly. Sometimes growth looks like responding instead of reacting, or resting instead of panicking, praying instead of spiraling, setting boundaries, asking for help, or recognizing your emotions without letting them completely consume you. That's growth too, friend. And many women don't give themselves credit for how much they've evolved because they're still focused on what's hurting them. But my friend, just because something still hurts doesn't mean that you haven't healed. That's important because resilience is not the absence of pain. Resilience is your growing ability to carry pain differently. And honestly, sometimes hard seasons force us to become honest about what no longer fits in our lives. I remember a season after divorce when I was living in an environment that no longer aligned with who I saw myself as or who I wanted to be. On paper, life probably looked stable enough, but on the inside, in my heart, deep down, I knew something wasn't right. I knew that I couldn't keep building a life that felt disconnected from my values or my peace and the future that I really wanted for myself. And eventually I realized nothing was going to change unless I made a decision. So I did something scary. I packed up and I moved across the country. Not because I had everything figured out, not because I wasn't afraid, not because I had any guarantee, but because I finally understood that sometimes resilience requires movement. Sometimes healing requires change. And honestly, one of the most powerful things about getting older and wiser is realizing that you are allowed to choose differently. You are allowed to outgrow environments. You are allowed to evolve. And you're allowed to stop surviving and start becoming intentional. And one thing I've learned is that hard seasons don't just challenge us and test us. They actually reveal us. They reveal our fears, our wounds, sometimes our coping mechanisms, our emotional patterns, our own level of self-awareness, and our doubts that we might have about God. And they also reveal our strength, our faith, our wisdom, our endurance, and our capacity to rebuild. That's a lot. And honestly, some of the strongest women I know are not women who've avoided hardship and pain. They are the women who allowed hardship to mature them instead of destroy them. And that is different because pain can either harden us or deepen us. And it's that choice that happens slowly through the decisions that we make each and every day. My friend, one thing I know for sure now is this. Strength after hard seasons doesn't happen by accident. It is built, it is cultivated, it is sought after, and it is embraced. It's built through intentional choices, honesty, faith, boundaries, reflection, courage, and sometimes just simply deciding you're not going to give up. I think many women underestimate how resilient they already are because they're still looking at what it is that they lost instead of recognizing what it is that they survived. Look at yourself. I mean, really look. You've probably survived things that once felt impossible. You've adapted. There are times that you've rebuilt. Somehow you've kept going. You've evolved and grown and changed. And friend, that matters. That matters. It can't just be me saying it to you. It has to be you recognizing and saying it for yourself. One scripture that has stayed with me through difficult seasons is Isaiah 43:19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? And honestly, the new thing that God is doing isn't just around you. Sometimes the new thing is happening within you. That new thing might be your discernment, your strength, your peace, your boundaries, your confidence, your self-awareness, or your emotional maturity. Hard seasons might have changed you, but maybe not in all of the ways that you feared. Hard seasons hurt because they force us to release illusions. Our own illusions of control, illusions of certainty or safety or permanence, and sometimes our own illusions of identity. And change can feel deeply, deeply uncomfortable because parts of us are grieving while other parts are growing. And that push and pull can feel confusing sometimes because you can simultaneously miss who you used to be and still be grateful that you're no longer her. If that's not confusing, I don't know what is. And so today, my friend, I want to ask you to ask yourself this question. How have my hard seasons changed me? And then ask this one. In what ways have I grown that I haven't fully acknowledged yet or even realized yet? Maybe your resilience is already stronger than you know. So, my friend, hard seasons will change you. Know that. If you hear nothing else, that part is unavoidable. But healing gives you the opportunity to decide for yourself what kind of woman you become on the other side of them. Are you going to become more bitter or more grounded? More fearful or more intentional? More closed off or more compassionate? And honestly, the fact that you're still here, still trying, still listening, still healing, and still growing already says more about your resilience than you probably even know. And as a reminder, if you haven't already, go download the free guided bounce back for 2026, the roadmap. Make sure that you get it today using the link that's in the show notes, or go to the website, bouncebackblackwoman.com, and you can get it there. I created it just for you, and it is designed to help you move forward with more clarity, more intention, and more resilience, one single step at a time. And don't forget, when you download it, you're going to automatically get entered into the giveaway for a brand new Bounce Back Black Woman t-shirt. I love them, by the way. And a signed copy of my upcoming book, Ruthless Intentionality, which I'll tell you more about soon. Now's not the time. I'm also quietly working behind the scenes on some exciting updates to the website and the entire brand experience. So this is the best time of all to stay connected. So remember, my friend, it's not just you. It's not just me. It's us. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey. And guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.